Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to talk about the careers available and the vast range of opportunities which are there in physics. So this webinar is actually, all of you know that, is sponsored by Bautic Academy of Science, Bautic Academy of Physics. So what I'm going to talk about is that we always have this kind of assumption that we have single physics career. The physics as a career option, we always have one thing in our mind, which is one single career option is being a professor, which goes through with the BSc, MSc, PhD, and then assistant professor, and then associate professor, and then keep on being a senior professor, and life takes you to one particular direction, and you keep climbing up the ladder, and you keep pushing yourself, increase the human knowledge by research. Of course, this research is one of the best option you can choose, but it's give you the best lifestyle also, and the earning which is there in this field is also amazing. You get lot of freedom, you get lot of funding to support your research. It's a job of great respect, flexibility, and impact. But I would like to say that this is not the limit here. Of course, we know that the physics is an exciting intellectual adventure, and we can learn more lot of things about the fundamental knowledge based on which is needed for future technological advancement. We can contribute to technological infrastructure and provide lot of advancement and discoveries based on knowledge what we have. But that we can do, but whenever we do this, whenever these kind of questions, or what we can do is we have always this kind of question in our mind, that are there many other career opportunities available in physics, or can we make really good money based on this by doing the research, or can we have a balanced or fulfilled life? And all of us who is joining this webinar is actually already taken up the physics, and you might be thinking that the career options is being narrowed down to scientist in research institute or teaching job. You have always this question in your mind that can I do something else? But most of us doesn't really know what other career options are there which can provide you a good salary and a very nice lifestyle and following with your passion. So if you think about the physics as a career option, it actually gives you a broad perspective to any problem. You can learn to solve the problems without being bounded with the context what you have. The inventive thinking which you develop by doing physics is amazing. The bachelor degree is one of the best foundation in the physics. So if you realize that, so what I'm trying to say, that once you have the BSc, MSc, when you are the BSc student, you actually have a lot of different options which you can opt for. That's nobody really knows. So you have, if you have a physics knowledge and skills, you can use this knowledge from ranging from different perspective, like forensic, space technology, medicine, or many different fields. Physics knowledge will give you attractive option which many employers need it in their field. So for example, in this slide, you will see that the police investigation team is in the police investigation department. They need the scientific officers which can work in the police department, and for example, forensic science laboratory or intelligence bureau, these kind of departments need the physics students. For example, the medical physicist, radiation physicist, they need the physics student as well. You can do the diploma in radiological physics in BARC. You can be working as a scientific writer, or you being like an editor. You can be a scientific officer in air traffic controller. So there are a lot of vast opportunities are available. If you're interested in brain research, you can join a National Brain Research Center, NBRC in Haryana. That's a very good option for physicists. On the other hand, there are many different companies like the mentioned, like the one which I shown here. The companies are actually preferring for the students who have physics background over any other background in technical knowledge. These companies have the R&D department or a engineering department where there will be some opening. You can go to the website and look for the options which are there, and then you can apply for it. One of my friend who was my colleague during my PhD time, and he was doing PhD physics in Singapore, and he has a background in physics, and he applied for the company named Micron. Um, which is based on the semiconductor manufacturing company, which manufactures the mostly computer memory or computer data storage, including dynamic random access memory or USB memory or flash memory kind of stuff. And he, after joining that company, he's following his passion and leading a fulfilled life. So it's not like it's limited to research only. Can physicists be an entrepreneur? Yes. An example here, what I've shown here is Elon Musk. He's an engineer, industrial designer, technology entrepreneur, and philanthropist. When I was in school, he chose physics as one of the best option, one of the subject, and he was good at it. He did the double major in physics. In addition, Alan's interest in physics also inspired from Richard Feynman, who is a very famous physicist. And now he is a CEO of many different companies, and each of his companies are vastly different. So for example, the Neuralink brains is related to the brain science. SpaceX is a space technological based company. Tesla automobile company. And then OpenAI is artificial intelligence based company. And the Boring company is a transportation based industry. So he actually built a lot of different companies based on his fundamental physics knowledge. On the other hand, if you see our prime minister, if you see our president, of India, who was there, 11th president of India, is from 2002 to 2007. He was an Indian aerospace scientist. He born from Tamil Nadu. He studied physics and aerospace engineering. He spent 4 decades as being a scientist. And after that, he joined DRDO and ISRO as a scientist researcher. The DRDO is a Defense Research and Development Organization, and ISRO is Indian Space Research Organization. I'll be talking about more about these opportunities later on in the talk. But what I'm trying to say here is we are not really limited with the physics opportunity which we think of. There are really vast opportunities from entrepreneurship, from going to the industry company, or being a really good scientist. So I would like to re-emphasize again that irrespective of what others says or what other made you to believe, physics give you one of the broadest possible career opportunity or career option. If you take any other options, for example, if you take MBBS or you take any MBBS student or you take law student, they cannot have that kind of freedom to choose what career they need to have, they need to become, because they are limited to be a doctor or lawyers. But here, taking physics gives you a lot different opportunity. Situation is completely different for physics student. They find themselves over the place, everywhere in different fields. So what I'm trying to say is that there will be different opportunities you keep on exploring in your lifetime. So, and then also there is a question that you will not have the balanced life with the finance and career. But this is really not true, irrespective of where you go. I will be explaining how this is not true in the next of my few slides. So I have divided my talk in 3 different physics career based on academia, industry, and entrepreneurship. In academia, there are basically, you can go for university institute or national labs. You can be a research scientist. That's a one perspective of physics career. And then you can be a research and development R&D based job, and you can either join a government or public sector. You can actually take IT, finance, and software companies. And so, what I'm trying to say is here is you can gain different insights with the role of scientist working in national lab, looking for industrial job in R&D, and or you contribute something in the government and private sector. On the third hand, you can opt for entrepreneurship. You can open your own business. You can be a freelance consultant based on what knowledge we gain from physics, and be your own boss. So after this, I will go more details related to the opportunities which we have in BSc Physics. So this slide I prepared completely based on the students who are in BSc Physics and they want to learn the opportunities away from, or maybe something like broad perspective for BSc Physics student. So in the first IT career, there is an option called MCA. This MCA's option is open for students who are really good in coding and interested in working with computers. So we always have this issue that the MCA we cannot do, BSc students cannot do, but that's not true. They always think that MCA is open only for students who do the BCA and then they can opt for MCA. But a BSc students can also opt for MCA and can apply for NIMCET exams, which allow you to get into NIT's top class colleges, and you can do the MCA from there. You can have very nice financial package from that MCA degree. The second option is business and management career. You can opt for MBA, very good package. You can give the CAT exam. Of course, that's a really tough one, but there is opportunities to go to the IAMs or FMS. Then if you are really interested in teaching, then you can go for BEd and TET. So you can be a government or private teacher based on what opening or so there is another test called Central Teacher Eligibility Test. You can opt for that, is a TET based test. And after qualifying that test, you can actually be a private or government teacher. Then there are government jobs. In the beginning, I will say about the civil services exams, CSE, which everyone knows about it. In that exams, you can opt for Indian Administrative Services or Indian Forest Services or Indian Policy Services based on what interest you have. So this is nationwide competitive exams, and all of us know that it's conducted by UPSC, which is Union Public Service Commission. You can go for state PCS exams, public sector banks, which is IBPS. IBPS is Institute of Banking Personnel Selection, related to the banking. If you're interested in, you can give that exam. SSC, then you can go for Indian Defense Services, which is related to the Indian Armed Forces. And so those Indian Defense Services will have separate call for BSc students. If you go to the online and see the website, you'll be able to find it. Then you have RRB, which is Railway Recruitment Control Board, and they have their own post, particularly for BSc Physics students. So you can see that there is a lot of opportunity in the government job. And in the employment areas, basically what I'm trying to say here is that most of the jobs which I mentioned here is not limited to this. There are much more jobs what is being listed here, but I have included few based on what interest we have. For example, if someone is too much interested in solar energy or power generating, they can go for power generating companies. So you will always find these companies, and you will be able to find the web page and then find the openings there, and you can apply for those companies very easily. And they always prefer students coming from physics. and mainly from BSc Physics. On the other hand, if you go for MSc Physics, we again have more different opportunity. For example, this NET exam, everyone is aware of, CSIR and UGC. After giving this exam, you can be a lecturer or you can opt for PhD program after giving this exam. Then on the other hand is the GATE exam. So the GATE exams, if you qualify that exam after MSc Physics, you can be you can join in PSU companies. So what are the PSU companies? PSU companies are like having 51 or more than 50% share of government, and the other less than 50% is a private sector share. And these kind of companies are recruiting mainly physics students, and they have put this separate section for that. So, for example, this GAIL, GAIL, BEL, NTPC, these kind of companies will really have opening in their portals based on the BSc Physics. Otherwise, after this GATE exam, you can also opt for PhD. And there are, of course, the research institutes like, as I mentioned to you, that DRDO, BARC, and ONGC. On the other hand, if you're really interested in something related with the information technology, you can go for NIE-LIT exam, which is National Institute of Electronics and Information Technology. This is associated with Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology of Government of India. This allows you to be the scientific officer, technical officer in the information sector, and they have their own particular exams, which I mentioned, NIE, LIT. Then there are careers for MSc Physics in forensic science as well, as I mentioned earlier. So these exams are conducted by UPSC or SSC, and there are other state selection board conducts also the separate exam for forensic labs. There are options open for intelligence bureau as well. You can give that exam. You can also consider that to be also one of the career, which is really open. So these forensic science related is like crime related labs, which are forensic lab and related to CID, criminal investigation department. You can also be a scientific editor. There is a company named Cactus Communication. If you heard of, they can actually hire physics students as a science editor. That's a very nice opportunity for MSc or BSc students. Now, on the other hand, as I mentioned to you, there are opportunities with very prestigious role in ISRO, BARC, DRDO, and ONGC. I want to emphasize more on these companies. Why? Because this gives you a really prestigious role. When you join ISRO, which is Indian Space Research Organization, if you join BARC, which is Bhabha Atomic Research Institute, DRDO, which is Defense Research and Development Organization, or you join ONGC, which is Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, where you can actually directly contribute to the extremely critical and national interest. It's very, very impactful job. The role is amazing. And once you be there in that kind of research scientist, you will feel very nice satisfaction with what you're doing there, and you will be able to contribute. You will get a chance to contribute directly to the future of nation contribution. So, and then on the other option is a national lab. So as I mentioned to you, national labs are other option as a being research scientist. So you can join as, for example, I mentioned to you here that there are 44 CSIR national labs. There you can be a technical or scientist assistant. You can join, for example, there is the one I mentioned here is NIIST Trivandrum. The other one is Physical Research Laboratory, which is there in Ahmedabad. And there is a one which I mentioned here is named Saha Institute of Nuclear Physics, if you're really interested in nuclear related research in Kolkata. And there's another nuclear related science center in New Delhi. So it depends on what kind of research interest you have and you want to opt for research scientist career. There are a few more options in research scientist career. If you're interested in environmental climate science, you can, after your MSc Physics, you can be a project scientist B, and you can become there is a one proper institute named IITM, which is Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology. And you, and then this is not limited to here. There is another one is Indian Meteorological Department is you can be a scientist there as well. So once you have that knowledge and your interest based on environmental, you can transfer this knowledge for weather prediction as well. If you're interested in geophysics, then you can be a geophysicist and be a scientist and geological in the Geological Survey of India. That's another option after the MSc. And then there's another option is geophysicist and assistant executive engineer, AEE, and also ONGC, which I mentioned to you earlier. Based on the GATE exam, you can be a geophysicist if you are interested in geophysics. Then another is government sector research scientist careers. After your BSc Physics, you can you can be a CMA, Chemical and Meteorological STEM, and also in Indian Railway. And then MSc, after MSc, you can be join BHEL or NTPC. BHEL is Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, and National Thermal Power Corporation, NTPC. So now you can see there are vast opportunities based on what research interest you have in different fields, and all based on MSc and BSc Physics. Then later on, few other options in industrial and cooperative companies, which are like this. So as I discussed earlier already, that industrial jobs are available and they will be happy to hire physics students. So they have these companies will have already have the R&D sections or department, and they really need the physics student from there. It doesn't matter where you are, irrespective of your geographical position. So the first one is GE company, which is based on Bangalore, is electrical MNC company. It's based on the main product here is like aircraft engines or some power generation or some oil and gas production. So this company also willing to hire more physics students based on what knowledge they have. Second is Intel, is of course everyone knows about it. Computer processor, they develop the computer processor, and they need the physics student as well. IBM, everyone knows about it, but do you know that recently there's a news came that they were the first company who demonstrated quantum computation and claimed to achieve the quantum supremacy. And few other companies like the multinational big companies, top companies like Google, Microsoft, and few other companies are also looking for more people who has knowledge in fundamental quantum physics to utilize this knowledge, develop the products, and use it in applications, computer-based processor or computer-based applications. So everywhere they need physics student. Then applied material. So I'll just go to the applied material, Micron, Global Foundries. All these companies are actually manufacturer semiconductor chip or electronic kind of manufacturing company, and they are willing to take physics students have the fundamental knowledge to utilize this knowledge to develop the chips which are where they need the physics knowledge. And then later on the material and electronics base, there are many different companies I haven't mentioned here, but there is a lot of opportunities where you can go for R&D units and apply for it. Similarly, laser, semiconductors, photonics, and electromagnetics. Each base there are companies, and all of them really need the physicist. And the most interesting part here is whatever the salary you get is always comparable with the industrial sector tech jobs. That's a interesting part here. On the other hand, if you know the recent news, which came recently in a few months before, that Apple is setting up the industry in India, moving from China, and opens many opportunities based on electronics or manufacturing based on Apple. So right now, this is the right situation where you can opt for more opportunities. On the other hand, I want to say, if you really, if you have already taken a physics career, and I want to say that you want to decide that you're not really having a passion on doing physics, you can opt for a few other options. For example, the financial and banking sectors. There's a huge number of opportunity you can explore. So if so once we start doing the physics, right, so that time we can develop a analytical mindset. We have that kind of once we do the physics. And that kind of skill can be utilized in management counseling. Okay. And almost every physicist is good at writing codes. Maybe some of them not, but some of them who are really good in writing the codes, they can actually find the jobs in IT sectors or computer engineering industry. So I've given some example like Infosys, Wipro, or CTS. So there's still there are options which are open. And in addition, I want to say there is no one going to stop you starting your own firm as well. That's also one of the another options. At the end, there are few more options related to the software companies. For example, the WordPress used for web developer, MATLAB. We all know these softwares. This can be used. I mean, these companies always need physicists who is really good in writing codes, and they don't want to actually pursue the research, pursue the physics career as a researcher. They can go to this company's website page and look for opening and apply directly there. I think there's a really nice opportunities. MATLAB, Mathematica, Origin Pro, National Instruments, and COMSOL software. At the end, I want to say, at the end, I would like to say, whatever the career you choose, you're never going to regret it if you do it with full passion and vision. That's the most important thing. Whatever the slide which I said from the beginning to till this point, it always depends on what interest you have, and you should not regret about it. On the other hand, now I will change my topic to the next part, is to the someone who is really interested in physics and want to take this to be next step for research. So I put a title like what a physics lover do after BSc Physics. So these are the opportunities towards research direction. So once you finish the BSc Physics, there are opportunities related to the integrated MSc and PhD dual degree. You can opt for JEST and JAM exam, and you can get very prestigious college in top college in India, ISC Bangalore. You can get TIFR Mumbai. There are other part of TIFR as well in Pune, Bangalore, and one in Hyderabad, and ICERs as well. ICERs have their own exam as well, and they have their own admission test, and you can give that exam for their dual degree program. There is an entrance exam for physics and astrophysics. This IPHDAP, which is IPHD means integrated PhD in physics and astrophysics. You can opt for this program if you're really interested in astrophysics. And then there is a option called IIA, which is also related to the astrophysics, if you're really interested in astrophysics. And then the last option which I mentioned here is Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science, IACS. That also you can opt for integrated MSc PhD dual degree program. Now, If you want to do MSc, only MSc from a premier institute of India, again, I would say that you can give the exam called IIT JAM. Now you can see that the IIT JAM exam is really, really important to get into your either an MSc PhD or to get into IIT or IITs. There is a JNU EE, which is a JNU entrance exam in JNU Delhi. There is a QSET entrance exam, which is in Cochin. QSET is everyone of you, all of you must be knowing about it. Cochin University, Cochin University of Science and Technology. BHU PET, that's a Banaras Hindu University entrance exam. And there are few other entrance exam in the top central university you can look for, and also the entrance exams there in the different universities where you can directly go for MSc program. There is a entrance exam DUET, which is for Delhi University entrance exam. IPU CET, which is Indraprasth University Common Entrance Exam Test. You can go to the Indraprasth University. IOUCET, which is Osmania University Common Entrance Test for Osmania University, and then BITSAT is for BITS Pilani. So based on which place do you want to go, there are very good premium institutes in India. You can opt the MSc program from there with their own interest in entrance exam, or you can opt for JAM or JEST kind of exam, or GATE as well. Also, when you're doing the BSc program, to make sure that you get more experience of the research, to enrich that BSc life, you can do some research project, you can do the summer project during your free time, you can do the internship. That actually helps you to develop your research more towards what you want to do in your life. And it's very important, right, these days. So I've mentioned few of the summer program. For example, the first is Visiting Students Research Program, VSRP 2020. It's there in TI for Mumbai. And there is one Summer Research Fellow, Indian Academy of Sciences. That's a very prestigious one. You can apply for it if you're interested in taking research to another lead. Then there is option in Visiting Students Internship Program in Indian Institute of Astrophysics, Bangalore. IITs, all IITs have their summer fellowship as well. For example, IIT Madras have their summer fellowship, especially for physics students. Then Visiting Students Program in Aries, if you're interested in some related with the astrophysics, or so that's called Aries, which is Aryabhat Research Institute of Observational Sciences in Nainital. So there is a visiting science program, and there are many camps around in India which organized by many different IITs or ISCs. You can look through the website and attend, which can actually enrich your BSc life with research. You can read more research articles, and the articles which gives you understanding based on what you really want to do in your future life. So based on this one, I also want to say that my journey is started with the BSc BS program at IISER Bhopal, and how I started my journey is after qualifying IIT JEE back in 2010 with a rank somewhere around mid of 8,000. And I will tell you an interesting story that my hometown is in Kanpur, and naturally everyone wanted and expected me to go for BTech IIT because I qualified the IIT. And but other than that, I really loved the physics during that time, and totally decided to join IISER, where I can take understanding of the research to take that as my major career option. So without wasting much time, what I did is I decided to choose the IISER. I went for counseling based on what qualified rank I got in IIT, and And then after that one, I joined the ICER, where I received the Inspire Fellowship, and I opt for BS-MS dual degree, which is a Bachelor of Science and Master of Science dual degree. So during studying in ICER, I also received the Inspire Fellowship, which which actually allows a very good, which helps me for my expenditure. It was very good then. Actually, there is something which is very interesting about ICERs, which I want to share with you guys. That in ICERs we get a chance to decide our major after 2 years, and which is a sufficient time for you to decide your major background. And then after 2 years, I was really sure that I'm going to take physics as my major career option, and I ended up taking physics as my career option. But in the beginning of that stage, um, I really have to struggle a lot of physics problems, but I enjoyed doing that one. I was happy to realize that I made the right choice by following my passion in physics. But then later on, during the also during the 5 year of bachelor and master, as I mentioned to you, we always need to. It's always preferable if you go for internship, and I applied for METAX Global Fellowship in Canada, and I gained a lot of research advancement from that experience. And it's good to brighten up your research experience. I would suggest everyone to go for internship experience if you really want to do research and explore and get to know more about what you want to do in that research background. So, and then later on, to explore more advanced concept, I decided to do PhD. And I decided to do PhD from outside India. And then to opt that kind of outside PhD program, I gave GRE and TOEFL exam. And then once after these exams is cleared, I actually got the NUS, which is National University of Singapore, and I started doing my PhD in 2017 in PhD in physics background. And he has provided fully funded scholarship with all tuition and living funded. So, and then I should also say that this National University of Singapore is 12th ranking in the world and first rank in Asia. So I was so happy doing in PhD in NES in physics. And now, so actually this, how to do PhD or how to do many other programs outside the India, we can keep another session for that one. For now, what we are discussing is only mainly related to the opportunity which are there in India. So, and then also we will have more sessions with Bautik Academy of Physics, how to prepare for GRE and TOEFL and decide what university to take and how to obtain PhD from outside. We'll be keep on learning these kind of webinar from the other webinars. So, and then recently I received Best Graduate Research Award as well from the Department of Physics among all physics students. And that is a really good achievement. I'll be finishing my PhD end of this year, and then let's see what research I carry on after that one. I decided to do mostly on physics. So here now, after this journey, I would like to tell you that I'm here to help you, that if you really want to do your future career related to the research or any kind of field, here we are happy to help you with Bautik Academy of Physics. So right now, this Bautik Academy of Physics provides you, which can help you to prepare the exams like JAM, NET, GATE, JRF, and all this. So it's really good platform. I'm really suggesting you guys to go for this and register now. The admission is already started. You can register today and then look for more opportunities here. At the end of this talk, I would like to motivate you by giving something like this. I will suggest you to imagine a circle that contains all of your human knowledge. So this is a circle which I've shown that contains all human knowledge. By the time when you actually do your elementary school, you know a little with this circle which I've shown in the blue color. And by the time when you go to the high school, you know a little more. And then when you go to the bachelor degree, you actually gain a specialty. For example, right now we are talking about physics, and that specialty moves in one particular direction. And then with a master degree, when you take, actually deepens that specialty in particular field. So what we are doing is we are increasing our knowledge by taking one particular special field. And by reading more research paper and takes you to the edge of the human knowledge, which is the edge of the circle which I have drawn here. And once you are at the boundary, you can focus more to push that boundary in few years. So what you can do is you can keep on reading more research paper, more knowledge about a particular field, and you can actually push the boundary. And that pushing the boundaries actually is is actually, in a broad perspective, you see that it's actually increasing of the human knowledge. Of course, the world looks different to you, and you see the world in a different way. So it's completely different. But now, if you see the bigger picture, you're actually giving that push and increasing the human knowledge. So in the end, I would suggest keep pushing, and then one day you will be having a very nice career, whatever you opt for. So as far as my takeaways goes here, don't shy away from taking the physics as a career option. And at the end, uh, you can actually, based on what interest you have, you can actually do really well by taking physics based on what interest you have. Thank you so much. At the end, I'll leave this slide for you to scan this barcode and to see. You can scan this barcode, and if you have any feedback or any questions related to anything, or you can send me the email as well, related to any career options. You can contact Bhautik Academy of Physics as well if you are really interested, uh, knowing about more something about the careers. So if you have any questions, please let me know. For now, I will just leave it to you for 1 or 2 minutes to see this barcode, and you can scan and you can put your feedbacks, and you can ask the question if you want. Okay, so thank you so much for your attention. And for the next step, what you can do is you can go to the Bhautik Academy of Physics website and register here. And also, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me or put any comment in the feedback form which I mentioned, or you can send me the email as well. I will go back to the slide again. So with this, I will end up this talk. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you.